it's Jai452 here, back inside the closet of Cosplay. And look at who I found this week, my special guest, Reaver. So we're very pressed for time this week, guys, so it's going to be a bit of a short and very quick interview. So I'm just going to ask you, Reaver, when did you first start cosplaying?
Well, it was actually rather recently. It was actually just before York Unleashed 2015 that I started cosplaying. I was just going to go originally in like just everyday clothes, but I thought, everyone's wearing costumes of their favourite game characters, so I thought I'll push the boat out and I'll try and do something. And that's when it's like, oh, this is really fun actually. So I'm going to do this more.
Awesome. Who or what inspired you to cosplay?
I think it's more you can escape your real life for a day. So it's like you can be a character or like a character that you admire, maybe, and it just gives you the chance to be them, but also you still be yourself, but you're a bit more free in a way.
Is there any particular group that you've admired or any kind of, I hate to use the term, but kind of famous cosplayers that you look up to?
There are a couple, and there's Calamity Connor, who's one of my good friends. Met him last year at York Unleashed, and there's also Hijabi Hooligan, who's recently become more better known for the charity work she's doing for Syria. I think the pair of them I really do look up to, because it's like Connor does stuff like making weapons and that, so that's really a talent to have. And Hijabi Hooligan, who's Dahlia Khalil, she's doing a lot of work for the things she loves. So it's like, and I think it's awesome to do things, for charity and just to spread the love out there. So I think they're both awesome in that respect.
Okay. Have you ever, what has been your most challenging cosplay that you've ever done, both from the making of the costume and the acting as the character?
For that, I would have to say Reaver from the Fable series, specifically the Fable 3 version. The hardest part of it was his jacket and his waistcoat, because he wears a brown double-breasted leather waistcoat, and no matter where I looked, high and low, eBay, Amazon, any costume shop, I could not find a double-breasted brown leather waistcoat, so I had to make it myself. And I'm following Google tips and saying, fold this pattern here and do this. And it's just like, huh? It's like I just couldn't understand how to make it. So I think it took me 5 attempts, just with like a faux wool starter, just to get the waistcoat right. And then by the time I'd finished it, it's like, was this worth it? And then when I put it on and it fit and it all buttoned up, I'm like, yes, this was worth it. It was worth all the pricked fingers from the needles. But it really isn't just an awesome feeling. If you make something yourself rather than buying it off eBay, you get that better sense of accomplishment from it.
It definitely is. Definitely. I'm off to an event on the 20th of this month, and the cosplay that I've picked is definitely out there. This is probably one of the last ones that anyone's ever going to see coming.
May I ask what it is?
I'll send that to you post the interview. But I was working on a prop for it recently, and I was just like, I couldn't fathom how to do this prop. And I was like, okay, I need it to do this, but I also need it to do this. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be taking that prop with me. I've had to scrap that idea completely. But I was in a florist's the other day, and I seen something that I could have used to help me with that prop. Which is kind of like odd when you say florist. Like, what could you find in a florist that could help you with a prop?
They do appear in the most random of places.
Yeah. It was actually a type of plastic that she was selling. And it was just like a home repair kit for vases and whatnot. And I seen this bendable plastic, and I was like, I could have used that to help me with the prop. So, but There you go. Um, so what character for you has been the most difficult from an acting point of view, like out of all the characters you've done so far?
All the characters I've done so far, I'd still say it was because I have my main cosplay, and that's Reaver from the Fable game series.
Mm.
At York Unleashed later on this month, I'm taking the Dark Knight version of Joker, and then at Teesside Unleashed in October, I think it is, I'm portraying the 11th Doctor. But I still think, hence the bow tie now, but I still think that Reaver was the most difficult because he's so. He's a character that is on like the opposite scale to me. Is like he's very smarmy, and he's one of those up himself characters. It is like he does things because he wants to do it. He doesn't care, if he hurts people along the way, he'll just do it because why not? So I think that to me, to stay in character for the entire day doing that, it was very much a relief to take his costume off, before I actually started turning.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, you do get inside the character's head, and it's like, I don't want to be here anymore.
I remember my first event was last year at Film and Comic Con, and I did a male version of Harley Quinn. And it's so, like, Harley is so much fun to play. She's so much fun to play. Like, anybody who came up to me and said, right, I'm doing a character from DC Comics, who should I do? And if I know that person to be a very light and bubbly person who's like extremely friendly, I would say do Harley Quinn. Like, no questions asked. But to add on to what you were saying there, like when I did Harley Quinn, I'm quite a friendly individual myself, I'm quite outgoing in that sense.
Definitely.
But it was so hard for me to smile like that kind of psychotic happy smile the entire day. Like
your face will just glue there, and you'll be stuck with a smile for life.
My dimples were like out for the entire time, and I'm like, oh god, like when I got home I was like,
well, Reaver walked around with a smug grin on his face. It was like, it's like maha. It's like, for me to do that all the time in photos, it was like I felt like my mouth would just warped to that.
Yeah. The second time I did Harley, it was so much easier because the first time I did it, I kind of held back a bit. Second time I went in, I just was like, I kind of don't care. I've been on a bus for 4.5 hours. I'm going for it.
I think once you've got used to the initial breakout of the cosplay, I think the second time it is a lot more relaxed.
It certainly is. Certainly is.
Because you become used to it, so it's a lot like, it's a bit more free and easy.
While we're on the subject of different characters and whatnot, in your opinion, what is the most difficult thing or character to cosplay as? Like, what's the one thing you would say to people? Oh, don't even attempt that.
You see, I don't think I would. I would think if someone had sheer determination to cosplay a character, it's like, no matter what they were, because I have seen people cosplay characters that I didn't even think were possible. I've seen people, I know one girl, Julieta, who cosplays the Alien Queen. And half her, it just looks so delicate, does her costume. I think the fact she's broken down that barrier and she's gone for it and done it. I think with enough determination, people can cosplay anything they like, apart from characters who float above the ground. I think that's a bit, that's probably a bit impossible. But I think if you've got the time, money, sanity, and materials, then I think anything's possible with cosplay. Absolutely anything.
There's a really good example of that on YouTube of Final Fantasy IX characters being cosplayed. Now, a lot of people think...
one of my favourite games.
I know, one of mine too. A lot of people think, right, there's a lot of characters in there that are easily done, like Kuja, your main villain, Zidane, Garnet, Steiner, all of those types of characters are easily done. I think some people might look at a character like Vivi or Quina and go, oh god, no, that's just way too difficult. there is a video somewhere of somebody who is roughly, I don't know, like normal height, whatever that is,
Yeah.
you know,
Average height, we'll say.
average height, doing VV. And the best of it is this person's walking about on their knees the entire time.
Wow.
And they've got the big, massive VV costume at the front, and just very slightly at the back, you can see these like black feet. And they did this amazing stage show where Vivi does all the stuff that he does in the game. Like he'll run after Zidane and he'll fall down, and
Yeah.
he does that kind of little tussle with his hat.
Oh, I
The
felt sorry for
person,
Over.
the person who did it on stage did it exactly the same, and I was like, this is amazing,
Wow.
you know. So
That that's one of the things with cosplay. You get some people who seem to think that people can only cosplay characters that fit their physical form, and it's just not right. It's like if I wanted to cosplay a character, say, I don't know, Blob from X-Men, one of the really huge guys. I'm as thin as a rake, but if I wanted to cosplay him, I would. And it's like on the opposite side, a larger person could portray, I don't know, Mr. Fantastic if they wanted to. I don't think physical form is any sort of boundary to cosplay.
that is one of the things that I'm so happy, and I'm actually going to name drop here, and she's probably going to kill me for it. So I'm so happy that Kobe Kicks has actually mentioned that a couple of times. You don't need to be a specific body type to cosplay. Cosplay
Absolutely not.
Everyone. I still get it how some people get kind of like fitness mad before a con, because I have been trying to do that to slim down for the cosplay that I'm doing. It hasn't worked, guys. I'm still the same way I was when I first said it more on, but who cares? I don't care. Food's food. I like it. It likes me.
Yeah, we all do. Mine just seems to go. That's it. I eat loads. It just doesn't go anywhere. It's just, boom, gone.
Give me the secret for that, because I want the secret for that.
Genetics.
But my next question for you is, to me, there are two types of events that you can go to when it comes to Comic Cons. There's the big once-a-year ones, your MCMs, your film and Comic Cons, and then there's the smaller local ones.
Mm-hmm.
Which out of the two do you prefer going to, and which out of the two would you advise somebody who's new to going to Comic Con events to go to first? So let's start with the one that you like over the two.
Well, I can't really give an opinion on that one because I've only been cosplaying just over a year. I've not actually had the chance to go to one of the big ones. I was planning on going to London film and Comic Con, but work got in the way and just everything just went there. But for someone starting out in cosplay, I would say it would depend on what your comfort levels were. Mm-hmm. Really, if you were, because like me, I have anxiety and issues, so I thought start with a small cosplay, break your way into it slowly, and then each time a con comes out, I'm slowly going to bigger and bigger cons, and just being a bit more relaxed. So I think, but if you've got the I don't care attitude, you're ready for anything, then boom, go for one of the big ones. If you want to meet a lot of other people in a small amount of time, and you want to see all the other amazing costumes, then go for a big one if you're comfortable with it.
Yeah. Just to add on to that, since I started last year, pretty much cosplaying, I've met so many people since then, and the cosplay community, guys, is like we've pretty much said it in every interview that I've done. The community is so nice. So many people will be so helpful. Reaver's been mentioning Calamity Cosplays. Such a helpful guy. He's helped me out a couple of times, and Covey has helped me out. Little Rascal has helped me out. Alphabet, multitudes of different people. if there's a forum for any event that you're going to, jump on it, see who's going, arrange to meet up, do photo shoots, even music videos, who knows? So yeah, I would say I would agree with Reaver and say, whatever is your comfort level, go with that and go from there. In your opinion, Reaver, what is the best and worst things that a new cosplayer can do when they're getting ready to go to a cosplay event?
From a personal point of view, don't wear all your costume at once. Because when I first went to York, I wore it all and I was just roasting the entire way there. So by the time I'd got there, I was ratty, I was moody. So it's like I didn't enjoy the whole day as much as I should have. But at the same time, look after your costume, because trust me, everything has a breaking point where threads will break and fabric will tear. And that's part of the fun of cosplaying. You get to redo things. But all I will say is look after your costume, look after your health. So if you are wearing costumes which are big and bulky, try not to stay in the sun too long. And if you are, just drink plenty of fluids. It's all about having fun, but it's also about staying safe as well, really.
So my next question for you is, while you've been at these cosplay events, what is the one thing that you find most exciting, and the one thing that either is still kind of nerve-wracking or used to be quite nerve-wracking?
Weirdly enough, I'm not a big fan of crowded places. So when it's in a smaller community, you've got all the traders and all the table, and you've got all the other people rushing around buying things. I'm literally just there trying to squeeze through. It's like I'm just apologising every 2 seconds. It's like, oh, sorry. So as much as I enjoy it, it still gets a little bit cramped, and that's one of the things that does get to me. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the best things, it's seeing people who you've met before at other conventions. Sometimes they might have the same cosplay, sometimes they might have a different cosplay. For me, it's like, to me my cosplay friends are more like a family.
Oh, yeah,
so for me, it's like seeing family again. So I think that's one of the best things. I think I just go just to see them again, really.
You were saying about you going, oh, sorry. I remember my first day as Harley. I had my hammer, and I kept, anytime I turned, I'd smack somebody in the head with it. And I'd be like, it's made out of cardboard, so I didn't really, injure them.
Just whacking people.
Yeah. But I do remember going, oh, sorry. And anytime I moved, there'd be so many people in my way, and I'd be like, sorry, but can you please move? About halfway through the day, I just got fed up of it. So anytime I hit somebody with my hammer, I didn't apologise. I just kept walking.
Yeah.
Just like,
that's something you get used to. You're just like, nah, don't care anymore.
Don't care. Had enough. I've been here since 9 a.m. I've had enough. So yeah, it is like you say, if it's a smaller, more local thing, you do tend to stop and say sorry. If it's one of those bigger ones, you're just like, I don't care.
I think if it's a big
one,
you've got more room. If it's a bigger event, so you've got more room to manoeuvre.
I don't agree with that, because the bigger event, you really don't have an awful lot of room, depending on what celebrities are there, I think. Because celebrities do draw the crowd.
I've never been to a big convention. I think I'm just thinking spatial wise.
Well, they are in bigger halls, don't get me wrong. But the big one,
bigger halls, more people. So yeah, it's all the scale.
The big one that I went to had the woman who does Ash's voice from Pokemon and Robert Englund there. So there was a lot of people flocking to see them. So by the time about maybe 1 o'clock hit was roughly when I stopped apologising for hitting people. I was just like, I'm done.
Just like, nope, don't care now. Move.
Don't care. I will hit you with my hammer if you get in my way. I don't care if you're an old lady in a wheelchair. I won't smack you. or woman with child, get out of my way.
Move.
That was a
There
child.
goes the child.
That was a child once.
It's flying. Be Superman for a minute.
Yes, definitely be Superman for a moment. But yeah, you do tend to just kind of like at first you're like, oh, I'm really sorry for hitting you and didn't mean to, and then eventually you're just like, I don't care. You got in my way. You hit my hammer. You should apologize to me. Okay, but my next question for you, props. Do you make your own? Do you buy them in? Do you do a combination of the two? And when you do like Comic-Con events, do you take big, massive props or smaller, medium-sized props, or like small enough that they would fit in your pocket or bag or whatever?
My props that I have for Reaver, I have a flintlock pistol, which was a present from an acting friend of mine, and that it's based on an actual flintlock, but it's had the barrel seal, so it can't actually fire. Thank the gods. And his cane, he has a black cane, which I made it out of just like from a store. Mm-hmm. Just like a normal walking stick, took the handle off and got like a big crystal, like doorknob sized. And I think that, just trying to attach that to that was more of a pain in itself, because it's like the part on the doorknob here was just a little bit too wide for the handle. Mm-hmm. So I remember I was there with the cane, just have it sat in flames, just waiting for it to heat up, and then with a pair of pliers, I'm just slowly bending the top just to shell it out, and then the handle fit in, and then I had to apply the super glue and wait for that to settle. I think that for me was still difficult with that. But I did get one prop made for a cosplay that I have yet still to do. Once upon a time, and I actually had the dagger made by Calamity Connor. Mm-hmm. And yeah. So that's unfortunately not here at the moment. That's at my dad's. And so once I get that cosplay sorted, he'll be appearing.
Can't wait to see that on your Facebook. Mm. So my next question is still on props. When you're off to a photo shoot, do you tend to take bigger props than what you would when you're going to a Comic-Con event?
I would say no, because if I mean other people might, but if I did, I'd feel sort of out of character in a way, because I've got used to the props that I currently use. It would just feel weird to have like different variations of ones. It's like even when like what I said before about my flintlock, I actually misplaced that one and had to quickly substitute with another that I found in a charity shop, weirdly enough. But because it didn't feel the same, it was like, I don't quite feel in character. So it's like, for me, I'd use the same props for both, just to feel part of the character fully.
So the next question is a difference in age. Now, to really explain this, when I first started the idea of doing cosplay, I had this notion in my head that it was just a certain age group that did cosplay, and that age group being somewhere between young adult to person in 30s. So teenage age to 30s. And I was so surprised when I went to Comic-Con and seen a wide range of age groups doing it. Yeah. Like family units doing it, although I'd seen pictures of family units doing it in America. I just didn't think it was something that happened over here.
I was quite surprised as well, actually.
And then grannies and granddads coming in, they're doing Doctor Who's, and that's the one thing I love about living in the UK, that once you hit a certain age, you can officially dress up as one of the older doctors and people will recognise you. What were your thoughts on that? Were you of a similar thought process as me, or? For
me, I thought, when you hear of cosplay, because it's got the word play in it, you do just think it's like, it's just the, just the younger ones, and when I actually went to York Unleashed, I was actually quite surprised at the different age groups there were. It's like, oh, it's like, okay, this was new. As you said, you've got the older generations running around as like the fourth Doctor. You've got older women who I actually saw a woman who actually played Granny from the Sylvester and Tweety Pie cartoons.
Oh, that's
She was
awesome.
a Granny actually cosplaying Granny, and that was rather cool to see. So it's like, oh, I didn't think the older ones. I mean, I say old. I'm 25, so I'm sort of in the middleish bit there. And but no, it was nice to see people of all generations just being who they wanted to be for that day. It gives you just it just proves that everyone is a child at heart. Everyone's got their dreams and aspirations. So I think it's great that people can just open up and just go, yes, I want to be this person for a day. And that's amazing.
Have you ever done any cosplays that were geared to a specific age group?
Not really. I think Reaver that I play. I think Fable, any age group can play. It's sort of like one of those weird fantasy games where it's not childish, but it's not adult. It's sort of in the middle, so it's like anyone can play it. And I know that when I've played the 11th Doctor a couple of times, it's like the kids recognise me, but also the adults do, because it's sort of like it's a modern thing now. So it's like everyone knows who the Doctor is now. Yeah. It's like I remember kids saying, why is the 11th one when it only started in 2005? So obviously kids have no idea about the older. I mean, a lot more do now. Mm-hmm. Just like kids back then, they didn't know about the classic series, but the fact they do now, I think everyone knows about all the characters. I think that's that's brilliant. So I think it's good that it's nice to get recognised as different characters, but also to prove that anyone can play anyone.
Would you ever do any? Because I've spoken to some people who do cosplay charity events. They'll go into children's hospitals as Disney characters and sometimes superheroes or different things like that. Would you ever do anything like that, or is that
if I got the chance? Absolutely. I think that's something that more I'd take the 11th Doctor for, because obviously being more well known by the public, I think that would be brilliant to be given that chance just to help other people, to have fun doing it as well. I think that would be an awesome event.
So my last question for you before where you can tell us all about where we can keep up with you, is what advice would you give to anybody who is looking to start cosplaying but just doesn't know where to start?
In all honesty, just find, I mean, you don't, the thing about going to conventions is, there isn't an absolute necessity to dress up. You can go in plain clothes, and some people do this just because they just go just to look at all the merchandise and such. So if you weren't quite ready to, if you didn't know what you wanted to cosplay or you didn't know what you liked, I would say maybe go to a convention just plain clothed, have a look around, see what other people are portraying as, what animes, what games, what anything. And find something you like and do that. For me, sometimes the best cosplays are the simplest. I remember when I went to Sheffield, Yorkshire Cosplay, I basically went as a scientist from the Umbrella Corporation, or the Resident Evil, and basically that was just black trousers, a waistcoat, a tie, and just a white lab coat with Umbrella Corp on it. For me, I count that as cosplay, but it's not a full cosplay, but it's being someone else for a day, but it's also a lot more relaxed in that you're not lugging around a full costume. So I'd say you can be anything really. So if you're not quite sure what you want to be, just think of anybody and just try anything really.
Okay guys, just before we do the Passover, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, give us a comment in the comment section. I think it's maybe, is it down there?
Down there somewhere, I think.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Oh, there we go. There it is.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel where you can see multiple different videos with multiple different cosplayers, including Calamity Cosplay, as we have mentioned. He is a past interview that's up on the channel, as well as many other different people. And also, don't forget to follow us over on iGame, where you can tune into our weekly podcast, our weekly MERP session, and also the other show that I'm the head of, the TV Draw, where we talk about all things television and sometimes even when we have a chance, movies. Okay, so I'm going to ask Reaver, where can we get a hold of you if we have any follow-up yourself?
You can always get a hold of me at my Facebook page, which is Reaver Revolution Cosplays. I shall type that out to you later so you can copy and paste it into the video for you.
It will be in the description of this video, guys. There will be a link there. So please do go along to his Facebook and support Reaver and see what kind of cosplays he's done in the past and is currently working on. Also, guys, we will try to reply to your comments as much as possible if you put them there in that section. Don't forget. So thank you, Reaver, for taking the time out and spending it with us. So I'll be back with another interview, guys, real soon. Bye.